Hello and welcome to the regional finals for 2021 for the primary class in Wales. My name's Mark, I'm your host. This is the wonderful Nelson Vale.
Hello everyone.
Excited to be here, Nelson. Let's have a quick look at what's coming up on the show. So we're going to meet the teams first and foremost. We're going to find out who's competing in the Welsh regional final, and I think we might actually hear from some of the teams as well, so that'll be nice. We've got some studio experts. We are graced by the presence of some world finalists.
Wow.
Yeah, they've been all the way to the top of the competition. They're going to give their expert verdicts on some of the team's work, so it'll be really interesting to hear from Molly and from Louise coming up later on. And then the big one, Nels, the one you've been waiting for.
Racing.
It's the racing.
Love racing.
Racing, it's going to happen, and it's all happening right here in this very show. If you are sat there at home now wondering, what is F1 in schools? What's this primary class thing that they're all talking about? Well, you might not be alone. We've got a little quick video just to help you understand a bit more about the F1 in schools primary class. God, Nels, some pretty exciting looking stuff.
Well, they do look good with those F1 liveries. I mean, those were actually done by the F1 teams as a template for our F1 primary teams to be able to use.
They were, you're right. But I think they serve as inspiration, don't they?
Yes. I strongly believe that the designs presented by our teams are going to be better.
I think you might be right. Well, we're going to find out because we've got two experts here in the studio who are going to show us the work of those teams. So it's time to bring in the girls and welcome you to the studio. So Molly and Louise, great to have you. How are you both feeling?
Very excited.
Yeah, we're really excited.
To be here. Oh, fantastic. So, ladies, just for people who haven't ever seen you before or are new to the competition, what's your kind of experience of the competition? Well, how have you got to this stage here?
So we competed in Team Accelerate starting off 4 years ago. So we got into the regional competition in Scotland in 2018, moved on to nationals, and then we managed to become UK Development National Champions and move on to the World Finals, where we were world finalists in Singapore.
Cool. So national champions, world finalists. That is some achievement. Nels, we've got some real experts here. If they don't know it, it isn't worth knowing about F1 in schools. Wonderful. Thank you very much, ladies. It'll be great to see what you've got lined up for the teams later on. Let's meet the teams, Nelson. Shall we see who's competing in the Welsh regional final? So, here they are. Pin drop on the map shows quite clearly we're in Wales now, and on the grid today we've got Red Lightning, we've got Blue Dart, Mighty Motors, Fire Flames and the Welsh Mandoms, all competing to be the Welsh regional champions. Now Nelson, it's going to be interesting to see those teams. Shall we find out first of all if the teams want to say hello themselves?
Oh yes.
Let's see the teams, let's see them in person.
Hi, we're Fire Flames. Hi, we're the Mighty Motors. Hi, we're the Welsh Mandoms. Hello, we are the Blue Darts. Hello, we're Red Lightning.
Isn't it great to see the teams actually face to face, hear the teams? Because it's the one big thing we missed really this year, isn't it? But it's great to see that you're all out there, still sending in your messages.
You know what? I think we need to give them a massive congratulations for the fact of being here in the event, because it's been troubled times and they've done it. They've overcome all the odds and obstacles and barriers, and they've competed. So,
Nelson, I couldn't agree more with you. For the teams out there and the teachers who've helped them to get this far, what a massive achievement it is in these difficult times to get to a competition like F1 in schools. I think from everybody in the studio, we want to give you a big round of applause, aren't we?
We should.
Well done, everybody. Congratulations for making it this far. You are all champions already, so well done and fantastic work for getting to this stage. Now, so without much further ado, we're going to find out what's been going on behind the scenes. I mean, we all know that the racing is coming up later on. The racing is the exciting bit, but there's so much more to F1 in schools, isn't there, than just the racing?
Yes, it's not just about the car. It's about so much more, like the verbal presentation, the communication skills, the marketing strategy, the team identity that the team presents, the engineering of the car. All of those things are being have been evaluated by a group of judges, experts from the industry. So they're going to give teams points, and then when we sum all of the points together with racing, we have winners and awards.
That's when we get our winners. So speaking of experts, our very own experts, Molly and Louise, have been taking a look at the work. So girls, over to you now. And what have you got to show us from the teams? What's really caught your eye, Molly?
So if we're looking in the design and engineering section, we noticed that the Blue Darts have created charts with results from their ramp testing, and this told them that the lighter the car was, the faster it went. So they managed to do this testing by testing multiple cars of different weights, obviously finding that the lightest car went the fastest. We also really loved their effective test method, in which 2 team members would use the stop clocks to time the testing instead of just one, and this would ensure that the time recorded was accurate, because if only one member recorded the times, one of them might get it wrong, maybe click it a little too late, but the 2 members ensured that at least one of them would be right all along.
Molly, that like nods of approval from the bench here. Nelson just went, whoa, yeah, and I was thinking it's
really impressive.
That's high level thinking, isn't it? That's pretty impressive. I mean, I guess the question is, when you were doing testing for the World Finals maybe, or for the National Finals, what kind of lengths did you go to as a team to do your testing? I mean, what kind of things did you get up to?
So we've done multiple different types of testing, even just from running the car down the track multiple times to see how our newest development would go, and seeing how it would go, maybe crashing into the barriers, seeing if it'd fall apart. And obviously there's testing with weights, as seen here. There's testing with new materials, loads of testing going.
Cool, okay, so I mean, carry on. You've got more, I'm sure you've got more from the other team, so take it away.
So we've seen Red Lightning, who looked at adding fins to the end of their car behind both of their wheels, and this would be in order to reduce drag and make their car faster. Things like this we see all the way up to Worlds level, where teams have rear pods at the end of their car, which pulls the really messy air at the wheel back into a point at the end of the car, making it go faster. And these are normally more successful cars in the Worlds. So this high level thinking is really impressive for them.
Fantastic. I mean, this is all the things that we're hearing about, what the teams are doing, relating to things that the girls have seen at the World Finals. This is really encouraging stuff, isn't it?
They're still in primary school.
I mean, this blows my brain to think that this is what they're doing at that age. I mean, I was nowhere near this at that age.
We need to say these are the future faces of F1.
Very much so. These faces, we will see some of them in F1. I'm sure of it. Louise, you've taken to the stage now, and I'm sure you've got some. You picked out some parts about the Enterprise and the verbals that you want to talk us through. So what have you got there?
Yeah, so one thing that stuck out to us a lot was all of these teams' team identity. So each of the teams from from the Welsh school, each of them got hoodies and caps to match with their team colours. So they all look really unified, all really cohesive, and they look like they're one really good, strong team.
I think everyone can probably have a laugh at how we say this. I think, Nels, we can probably do this worse than everyone. That was a pretty good effort, I'm going to be honest. And I think Louise, just for the record, Louise has nailed that in rehearsals every single time. You did it, I think you did it right. Nels, how would you say that? I mean,
I'm not even going to try.
No, you see, the thing is, credit to you, Louise, for trying that. I think Uzgol Bodalau, maybe, is about as good as I'm going to do. Anyway, let us answer the postcard, send it in, tweet us at F1 in Schools UK, and send us a clip of you saying your school name, because we are fascinated as to how wrong we've got it. Anyway, Louise, back to you.
Yeah, sorry, I tried my best with the Welsh name. On to something else that we loved was the Blue Darts verbal presentation. And the thing that caught our eye so much was the pit display that they created behind them. So this was a display board that they had behind them for their whole presentation, where they had images and information about their team and their process.
Lovely stuff. So, right from the beginning, thinking about a pit display. I mean, Nels, the pit display is something truly spectacular when we see it at the sort of top level of competitions. I mean, Louise, how did you approach the pit display as an activity? What were you trying to get across to the judges and I guess to other teams with your pit display?
So we always love doing pit displays. They are always so exciting because there's so much creativity, so much room to create something that's really unique to your team. So for us, we'd always start by thinking about what are the most important things to us, what do we want to show off. So that might be our car development, it would be our sponsors, just the things that were most important to our team, and then we'd think about how can we turn this into a display that's really exciting and really sells our team specifically.
Yeah, and we see some incredible installations, don't we, at the World Finals, especially even national finals, where the teams are building these products. They're not just tables and display stands. They're like building structures and putting products in place. I mean, amazing things. Well, thank you very much, Louise. A really nice bit of insight there, and great to see what goes on as well behind the scenes, away from the racing and away from the track. But Nelson, I believe this has brought us to a point in the show where you will sit up straight and take notice, because
Racing time?
it's time to go racing. We're going to head over to the tech screen. The tech screen, which I think is going to be staffed, by Louise. Are you on first, Louise?
Yep.
You are. We're going to see the first two teams. So, Louise, if you want to talk us through them, here we are. Our first two teams on track today. We've got Red Lightning against Blue Dart. Louise, what's caught your eye?
I think this is going to be a really interesting matchup actually, because if you look at statistics such as their car length and their rear wingspan, they're both very, very similar. So it will really be the small details that make the difference in this race.
Yeah, and definitely, there's some. You're looking at the specs there. I mean, the weight, Nelson. The weight is so close, and so close to the minimum too. Which, of course, being the scrutineer, you can tell us a bit about the minimum weight.
Yeah, so the minimum weight in the primary class is 40 grams. So of course, look at that. So we have 40.5 and 41. So very, very close. And if we look at length, that it's basically the same, I'm expecting a very close race.
And Nelson, just help me understand. So if a car arrives maybe less than 40 grams, so under the minimum weight, what would you do as the scrutineer in that situation?
So we cannot allow cars to race under the legal weight. So we would put ballast on to make it compliant. So we would put ballast if a car is 39 grams, we'll put 1 gram of ballast to make it legal up to the 40.
So every car always races at or above the minimum weight?
Yes.
So it's fair. Okay, understand. Right. Well, I think we've probably seen enough of the teams. I mean, Louise, if you had to pick a winner, who are you going to go with in this race?
Oh, I think it's going to be really close, nearly too close to call.
Yeah.
I'm liking the look of Red Lightning, but it could go either way.
Yeah. Nels, any thoughts?
I have a thing for red.
Whoa, you do.
Red Lightning.
But you've got a thing for red and blue, and red and green, Mr. Portuguese.
Yes.
These are your national colours. You can't call this.
Yes.
No, you can't call this, Nels. You're not allowed to. This has got to be a dead heat for you. Well, it's going to be interesting to see. I think the track team are ready out on the racetrack, so we're going to head out right now and find out what happens in race number 1.
So as you can see, we have Red Lightning in lane number 1 and Blue Dart in lane number 2. So all the lights are going to go on. They're off. And there we have it. We have Red Lightning taking it with a 2.200 against a 2.875 of Blue Dart. But this is just the first race.
It was both times below 3 seconds, one quite close to 2 seconds itself. We've seen sort of among the other teams competing this year that around the 2 second mark is really quite competitive, isn't it now? So we're looking for teams, if you can get under 2 seconds, you're really looking quick at this stage. So that was race 1. Race 2 comes up next. Now, should we just explain to the teams at this stage how the race format works? Because obviously they've seen a race. How many races do each team do?
So each team will race 4 times on the track, but 2 in lane 1, 2 in lane 2.
So we see 2 races, then the cars swap over.
So they swap lanes mid-races, and this is to make sure that the cars are able to race on both sides of the track.
Interesting. Well, we'll come back to that shortly. We're going to go to race number 2 now, and back to the track.
As we can see, both cars are still in the same lanes, and they're off.
A little bit closer that time, I think.
So we still have Red Lightning with an amazing 1741 and Blue Dart with a 1981.
Where did that come from?
An amazing time.
That is extraordinary. I mean, that's almost so you have to wonder sometimes whether the cars almost kind of loosen up as they're going down the track. Maybe the second race, even the third race, is even quicker. I mean, is that, Louise? Is that a thing? Do the cars tend to kind of Can they warm up? Is that a thing?
Yeah, so car performance can change loads between races. So for some teams, their car will get better, it'll get better. Their wheels will kind of loosen up a bit. They'll be able to achieve faster times. For other teams, their car might slow down, but that's obviously not the case here.
Wow, okay, interesting stuff to hear. I mean, so that was the second race, wasn't it, Nelson? So at this stage, we're now going to bring the cars back, we swap them over, and we give them a go in the other lane. Why would you do that? I mean, what's the reason for that, Nels?
Well, maybe our technical panel can clarify.
Maybe they can. I mean, Louise, have you got an answer? Why would we run in different lanes?
In theory, both lanes should be the same. However, no team thinks that. Every single team you ask has a preferred lane.
What was your favourite?
Lane 2.
Oh.
Always lane 2.
Lane 2. Well, there we go. There we have it. Well, let's see. It'll be interesting to see if lane 2 proves quicker for either of these teams. So I think, Nels, we're ready. I can see the smoke signal out there, which means the track is now ready. So the guys on track are ready for race number 3.
We now have blue darts in lane 1 and red lightning in lane 2. They're off.
Whoa, that was really tight.
So we still have red lightning taking it with a 1.801, but very close with a 1.893 with blue dart.
That was
very, very close.
So that kind of suggests that there is a difference in the lanes. They're very different times, aren't they? And the race was a lot closer. You could tell that from the first, second, and then to the third race. It definitely closed up there. Really interesting to see. So that was 3 races out of the 4. We've got one more race now.
One more race.
One more race in this pairings, and I think the track is indeed ready. So we're going to head back to the track for race number 4.
And they're off. So we have red lightning taking it with a 1.837, but if you look at the split time, we have 0.544 in blue dart and a 0.554 in red lightning.
Try saying that again, Nels.
That was really, really close.
Lots of 5s and lots of 4s, but the moral of that story is that one of the cars approached the sector gate first, but the other car actually overtook it and finished before it. So just explain to people who don't know what the sector gate is, Nels. What is this bit of equipment?
So the sector gate is basically a bit of equipment that we have that actually helps us measure the performance of the cars mid-race. So they pass under the first gate, the sector gate, and then they have a finish gate that measures the total race time. So sometimes the car that actually goes first by the split gate, the middle gate, it's not the car that actually wins the race.
So interesting. So some of the cars maybe start quicker, and some of the cars finish quicker. I mean, it depends, I guess, on design and bearings, etc. But yeah, fascinating to see that, and interesting to know the difference in times as well across those lines on the track.
Yeah, you can make studies in terms of how to improve your car by analysing.
I mean, I'm sure we won't. I think that's the kind of thing that our experts would probably have done at some stage. But let's find out who's up next on track. And I think, Molly, you're going to talk us through this next pair. So we've got here the Mighty Motors against Fire Flames. What have you got for these two teams?
Well, if we're looking at the stats, they're fairly similar in every area except the rear wingspan.
Ooh.
Absolute massive difference there, with the rear wingspan of Mighty Motors being very small in comparison to Fire Flames. Fire Flames have gone for this very large rear wing. It hangs over the side out further than their wheels actually. And we'd love to ask the teams if they were here why they'd done that, but unfortunately we can't. But it'll be really interesting to see the difference on track if the smaller wing or the larger wing proves to be better.
Yeah, interesting. Really, a couple of really interesting designs as well. I mean, you can see, like you say, that wing on the Fire Flames car, it's almost kind of hanging out like a sort of skirt over the edge of the wheels, isn't it? Is there an aerodynamic reason for that? Do you think? Is it something the team are trying to do specifically?
Maybe trying to pull the air away from the wheels. Well, we're not sure, honestly. I guess we'll see if it works very well on the track.
We will. This is exactly it. We will see soon whether it's going to be a success for the wide wing or whether skinny wing takes it. So let's head to the track for our first race of this pairing.
So this is race number 1 with Mighty Motors on lane 1 and Fire Flames on lane 2.
Yeah, really distinctive designs, both of these cars.
Lights off. And there we have it. We have Mighty Motors taking it with a 1.777. That's a really impressive time.
Wow, Nels, that's a
really good time to Fire Flames with a 2.012. But Mighty Motors, really impressive.
This is one of those where Fire Flames have done really well here, but Mighty Motors have just eclipsed it. That is a ridiculous time. And the split gate, again, so Mighty Motors 0.535.
Close.
It's really close, but it is incredibly quick as well. Well, that was race 1. We're going to head back to the track now for race number 2.
So still in lane 1. And there we have it. So Mighty Motors with a 1.804 and Fire Flames with a 2.117.
Okay, interesting. Well, there you go. So Mighty Motors seem just to have a little pace advantage here, but of course that's in lane 1. Now comes the point, Nelson, where we swap-a-roo the lanes.
I'll see if that consistency will be maintained in different lanes.
It'll be interesting to see whether the cars are any closer now that we've swapped them over. So, I believe, there's a hive of activity out on the track which suggests that the guys are just finishing setting up the cars, and the pigeons have been released. The track is now good to go. We are ready to go for race number 3. Call it, Nelson.
So race number 3. So there we have it. It's Mighty Motors taking it with a 1.717.
Wow!
That is very, very fast time. And Fire Flames with a 2.134. That may be just one of the fastest in the country.
I was going to say, Nelson, I don't want to say it too soon, but I think we might have just seen the quickest time in the UK this year, just now. I think that might be the quickest time to date. Wow, well, what a thing to see. I mean, that is quite an extraordinary race. That's race number 3, of course. We've still got another race to go. Mighty Motors, can they go even faster?
Can they?
Can they even break the 1.7 barrier? We don't know. This is new territory for us in primary class here. Well, let's go back to the track and see the final race in this pairing. The Fire Flames in lane 1 against Mighty Motors in lane 2.
Let's see. There they are. Track team's getting ready. And they're out. So it's Mighty Motors taking it with a 2.077 and Fire Flames with a 2.185.
Whoa, that's interesting. So they've just done a 1.7 and then the last time was a 2 seconds, so quite a lot slower. I mean, Louise, is that a thing that can happen? Can the cars kind of slow down quite a lot through the racing?
They absolutely can. I think we've seen that in the past with some of our cars. As the wheels wear down, they just get a little bit slower.
Yeah.
So.
Just got a bit tired, didn't it?
Exactly.
A bit worn out. Had enough of its races. 3 was enough. That'll do. 4th was just like, I'll go on then. I'll do it for the cameras. But wow, what a time though in that 3rd race now. So that's going to be hard to beat. Brilliant. Well, we're going to go to our next set of teams. So I think Louise, you're going to talk us through them. In fact, it's a single team on their own. So we've got the Welsh Mandoms going up against the invisible team in lane 2. Louise.
So looking at this car here, I think the thing that sticks out to me most is the shape of the body. So it appears to be quite a streamlined design, which I reckon will help with the airflow over the car, which should hopefully lead to some quick times for them.
I'm going to be inclined to agree with you, Nels. This is I think we wouldn't be misplaced in saying this is a pretty car.
It is a very pretty car.
Yeah, it's got a very nice. I mean, the colour scheme's beautiful to start with. It looks great with the Pirelli wheels that we can see here. But that body shell, like Louisa said, really kind of streamlined, sort of hugs the chassis, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see. So listen, it's 39.0 grams. So Nels, this means that you would, as the scrutineer, you would have weighed this up to 40.
So what happens is we cannot have a car being underweight, so the minimum weight is 40 grams, so we had put ballast on the car in order to make it compliant, so that's 40 grams minimum.
So the car races at 40 grams, but you can see this team is really trying to push the boundaries, true F1 style. So let's see how it goes on track. We're going to head out now for race number 1.
So we now have the car in lane number 1.
There it goes. Of course, now we have a little delay because, of course, the track system is just waiting to see if a car crosses in lane 2. When it works out that there isn't a second car on track, it'll give us a time, Nelson, which is...
So it's 2.093. That's a pretty good time. Let's see if they will improve it.
Yeah, absolutely. Just on the cusp of the 2-second mark, which, as we said before, is a mark of speed. This is a good time so far. So the Welsh Mandoms setting a good time in their first race. Let's see what happens out on the track for race 2.
Race 2 still in the same lane. There we go. It's pretty fast.
Is it going to be quicker though?
So the system is just calculated because it's waiting for another car to arrive.
Oh, there we go.
It's a 1.954, so it did improve.
It's getting faster.
So under the 2-second barrier.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So we've gone under the 2-second barrier now. Welsh Mandoms just on their own. I mean, what would be? I don't know. Is it a blessing or a curse, Louise? Is this something that teams would want to do, go in the lane on their own, or is it something they want to avoid?
I think it really depends on the team, to be honest. Some teams like to have that competition, other teams may not so much. It may help with aerodynamics, I don't know, maybe less turbulence from the air of the other car, I don't know. Could work in their favour.
That's an interesting theory, yeah. So less exhaust coming from the car next to you, so yeah, a bit more cleaner air maybe. Interesting stuff. Well, I think the cars have been swapped over now, so the track team have been busy. Yeah, I think we can just hear it in. The track team are indeed ready to go, so race number 3 can now take place. Over to the track and over to you, Nels.
So now race number 3, we've swapped lanes, so the car is now in lane 2, so let's see how it performs. There it goes.
So we're just going to wait for this momentary delay while the computer makes its mind up, and
we have a 2.214, so it didn't really improve, but it's still quite a good time.
It is, yeah, another consistent time. We're still looking for that really, really quick time, but it's already gone under 2 seconds, the Welsh Mandoms car, so they've got one more chance now in the final race of the day when the track guys have got the car back in position. We are ready now, I think, yes, to go to race number 4 for the final race of today's regional final.
Tractors were doing a little bit of suspense there, but they're off. There we go.
And there it was, the Welsh Mandoms crossing the line. And we get the time through.
2 seconds to see, and there we go. It's a 2.266, so pretty good effort.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little bit faster in lane 1. Now in lane 2, it's still pretty consistent.
Again, all-round consistent times from the Welsh Mandoms and a really successful little race there. So again, didn't seem to have any issue on them, not competing against another team, and great to see them racing away there on the track, the Welsh Mandoms. Now, well, Nels, that brings the racing to an end.
Oh,
I mean, what a shame. That was fantastic. That was great fun.
that was great.
Racing the teams go down. Do you know what was really good to see as well is I don't think a single car suffered any damage there.
No.
We had a clean sweep, which I tell you what means one thing: really good, solid engineering from all the teams there, which is great to see. I mean, I feel like we should probably do like a summary or a recap of some sort about what happened in the racing. I mean,
Could we see the times from today?
that's a really good idea, Nels. Let's see a leaderboard. Let's do that. Let's go to the final leaderboard for Wales, where we can see in first place with that incredible time that we all remarked about at the time. In first place, it's Mighty Motors with a 1.717. Oh, I mean, no.
Very impressive.
Yeah, they're all tight times. I don't think we've had a single regional final where actually the slowest time was so close to 2 seconds. I mean, Fire Flames, you've got nothing to be ashamed about. That is a brilliant time. To say that we've got 3-4 times in sub 2 seconds, that is quite impressive. Yeah, really impressive performance from all the teams. I mean, that is noteworthy indeed. Now, I think it's the next thing to say really is a well done to all the teams. A massive performance. We said it at the beginning, absolutely brilliant to see. Yeah, to see all the work hard done by the teams. And I think from us all in the studio, we gave them a round of applause at the beginning. We've seen the races now. They probably deserve another one, don't they? A huge round of applause again, and well done to the team from Wales. Congratulations. Of course, we said it's not all about the racing. There are some awards still to be dealt out. Stick with us. The award show is coming very soon, so tune in for that. Thank you very much again for watching. Well done, everybody. We'll see you soon.